Let's get this straight out of the way. The translation of Shikhondo is horrible. The grammar is awkward when the text isn't straight up cut off by the edge of the screen, thus making some sentences unreadable. All of which is made worse by the generic font they chose, which doesn't fit the style of the game at all, making it stick like a sore thumb. Plus the fact that 90% of the game's entire script belongs to the tutorial, a tutorial who doesn't even bother to explain how to play the game using a controller because it only shows the keyboard controls, leaving you to guess at what the fuck to do when the game starts. Not to mention the awkward way the game requires you to activate your alternative fire mode by holding two buttons simultaneously rather than just doing what every other game of the genre does and just allowing for alternative firing by pressing one of the other face buttons. And since Shikhondo uses only 3 buttons, there is no excuse for them to not let us use the 4th one to activate it more easily. This is all very negative criticism, I'm aware of it, but I just wanted to take it out of the way right at the start of the video before I told you about how everything else in this game is fucking perfect.
Game over, yeah!
Shikhondo, also known as Soul Eater, also known as this, is a shoot 'em up brought to us by developer Deer Farm. The plot is kind of hard to grasp because unlike some shoot 'em ups that have dialogue at the beginning and the end, or before and after each boss battle, there is no dialogue or real context provided as to why the shooting is actually happening. You just pick between 2 characters, the Green Reaper or the girl, and then you go to town on the enemies. But I'm sure the store page description can help us. Select one of the Green Reaper or girl. Find escaped yokai from limbo, extricate so that they absorbed. So basically you pick your character, each of them having different shooting modes like its usual shoot 'em up tradition, and then you enter a beautifully rendered level and fight against beautifully drawn enemies. I heard the backgrounds being compared to woodblock printings, but in my personal opinion, they are too stylistically different from classical woodblock and they have their own little detailed flair. They do look very pretty though, just as the enemies look distinct and memorable, which is also useful from a gameplay perspective, as being able to distinguish how much punishment an enemy can take and what kind of bullet pattern he will shoot at a single glance is really useful and practical. And props to the developers in stylizing the bullets in such a way that even with such a visually busy game, thanks to the incredible detail on, well, everything, I still never lost sight of the bullets. Every single time a bullet hit me, I felt like it was my fault, and the game was playing everything incredibly fair, visually speaking. And don't even get me started on the UI, from the chunks it takes from each side of the screen with beautiful patterns, all the way to the warning that covers the screen whenever a boss is approaching. Everything in this game is stylized to the 9th degree to create the best consistent visual experience possible. Bosses also exists on a tier of their own, all presented as characters with more conveniently attractive designs during their first phases, but quickly switching to a form more fitting of their true monstrous nature during their second phase, all while showering you with curtains of bullets, making each and every boss encounter a truly memorable experience. Those battles mark the end of each level, and while some shoot 'em ups might just tally your score in a matter-of-fact informative way or shove in story beats at the end of each level, Shikhondo opts to use its beautiful visual style to stylize the result screens with the massive impact you would expect from a game like Devil May Cry, which both congratulates you on a job well done while inspiring you to do better next time. Honestly, the only thing I felt missing was a straight-up grading system to display in a simple fashion how well you did, but given the high scoring ever higher with different strategies nature of shoot 'em ups, perhaps that would be considered counterintuitive to the rest of the game's design. You don't want players to aim for an SSS rank and consider the job done after all, you want them to keep improving forever. All of this, however, is further enhanced by the game's deceptively simple gameplay. You can shoot a more widespread pattern, or you can press 2 buttons simultaneously to use a more concentrated alternative fire mode, and of course you can use a bomb to damage our enemies while clearing the screen of bullets, allowing you to escape when you're cornered. So far, that's a pretty generic shoot 'em up system, but what changes everything though is the Soul Collect system. Let me explain it in simple terms. The Soul Collect system is a drug and it is incredibly easy to get addicted to it. Too simple of an explanation? Okay, here's a more nuanced overview. Every time you graze a bullet, your Soul Collect gauge goes up. When it's full, you can activate Soul Collect mode, which clears the screen of bullets and allows you to unleash the bullet hell back onto your enemies with the most awesome rain of bullets you have ever seen. And you can take it even one step further by using one of your bombs to enter an even higher level of Soul Collect mode that does the entire thing again, and finally the screen is cleared of bullets one last time when you exit Soul Collect mode as well, meaning the entire thing is essentially a devil trigger with a maximum of 3 bombs in one go. It's supremely overpowered and I loved it. And for those of you who didn't get why it's so addicting yet, it's because from a game design perspective, it runs to the complete opposite direction of the bomb and how it works in most shoot 'em ups. Because in most shoot 'em ups, the bomb is hard to get. You might need to score a high amount of points or kill specific enemies for a power up to show up, and then you're supposed to hold back on them to keep them for as long as possible until you really need them. Hell, the best players are supposed to beat the game without using them at all, so they can hold on to them for bonus points at the end of the game. But the Soul Collect mode, it's the complete opposite. Your Soul Collect gauge is charged by grazing bullets, and you'll be constantly shot at, so you always have a way to charge it. And since it's so easy to charge it, and you can't hold on to multiple charges, the best possible play is to always activate it as soon as you can, because once it ends, it doesn't matter if you're fighting normal enemies or if you're in a boss battle, more bullets to charge it will fly in your direction as soon as you exit it, so why hold back on it? And it's not only that, because everything from the visual effects to the actual gameplay impact of the mode is tremendous, meaning it is one of the biggest power trips I've ever had in recent time. Every moment with Soul Collect mode activated is an absolute joy, and every moment outside it is spent on grazing rains of bullets in order to get back to it as soon as possible. It is a great gameplay loop, and it's like you are addicted to an incredibly powerful drug. Only your drug dealer sells every dose at only a few cents instead of increasing the price, so you can just overdose yourself like the piece of garbage you are for dirt cheap. And I mean that in the best possible way. So yeah, the art style is great, the soundtrack bops, and the gameplay is addictive on top of being simple enough even a beginner can find great joy in it. Plus, there's an extra mode where you can customize the details of how to charge and trigger Soul Collect mode, which is nice. It is already a tightly designed system, but I always love when developers are humble enough to allow you to play around with the details of the game mechanics, so in the end, I can definitely recommend Shikhondo as a really good game to pretty much anyone interested in shoot 'em ups. Now, if you excuse me, I need to inject some more of it directly into my veins. But before I go, I want to leave a quick message to thank you for watching to the very end, and to like and subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more of it. There are more reviews coming up very soon, so you might want to subscribe to stay in tune with the channel, you know. I'm gonna go drug myself now. See you later.